Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Brown here for the Groove Don't Lie podcast. Today's guest, Mr. Brian Dunne, drummer extraordinaire for Hall and Oates, drummer for Live from Daryl's House, drummer, concerts, and recordings for Joe Walsh, Sammy Hagar, Ben Folds, Miss Ariana Grande, Miss Patti Labelle, Miss Chaka Khan. Damn. Enjoy this. Part 1 of Brian Dunne on Groove Don't Lie podcast. You know, you've lived quietly inside the bloodstream of R&B, soul pop, and TV music. So with that, you know, in that overlap, says everything from what you've done, you know, Daryl's house, you know, Patty Austin, Hall and Oates, Bobby Caldwell, Chuck Loeb. So you've been in ways like you see other people who are like on social media. It's like, you know, but you've done your thing. It's like, and you're still there. You don't have to. You don't have. You know. You don't have to so much shine the light on you, because the people that have called you and the accounts, man, the accounts. Or I put it this way: if you have accounts, roof over the head.
Yes.
If you don't have any accounts, you may be homeless.
Yeah.
So the fact that you've done this and you're trusted, you know, that says so much about what you've done. And again, that trust within the community, within that groove community. So that, my brother,
Oh, thank you, man.
acknowledgement. So, with the Hall and Oates chapter of Brian Dunne, and it's, you know, it is overlap, like, you know, Patty Austin, Bobby Caldwell, and Loeb. How would you say that has been like it framed, or it was a foundational gig that has led you to where you are now, and not just a sideman, no, but you are a musical problem solver.
Yeah.
So
I, I mean, are you asking for sort of the one sort of situation or gig that kind of led to pretty much all these things, um,
it
or
may
just
it, it may be that, you know, however you want to frame
okay? I mean, I will say, and I mean, to me, it starts from home. It starts from my experience at home and having really talented brothers who played, and sort of instilling uh, sort of a pocket-based attitude, and play the song and play the gig you're on, not the gig you may want to be on. Like, just be present and be someone that people can count on. And then also strive to have your own flavor, of course. Um, and most of everything else should take care of itself. In terms of my gigs, the gigs that I kind of make a living with, um, uh, I mean, I went from growing up playing mostly just my first memories of playing is really the very first memory of playing, getting behind my brother's drums is playing along with Bad Company records. That's like very
Ooh.
first thing, yeah, for me. But then my sisters were Earth, Wind and Fire fans, and so we had the R&B thing was always there. The Chaka
Man,
Khan,
you were getting bombarded.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my brother came home with the Rufus and Shaka Khan live at the Savoy record, that double white record.
I know that record. I listened.
Oh,
Oh, I wore that out.
oh my God. And 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 like it's weird. Like even something like that record, some of those live versions of those songs already prepared me for the New York City club scene. I used to play at a club called Cafe Wa on Tuesday. It was Funk Tuesdays. I played there every Tuesday for 17 years. I mean, when I was on the road, the gig was mine when I came home. And but we were still playing those arrangements, the definitive live Shaka versions of some of those tunes. So, yeah, I mean, my brothers were just huge in terms of preparing me without even knowing they were preparing me. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, yeah, and the other thing that I can always remember is just little bits of information they would or little things they would say to me, like, don't worry about drummers, worry about bass players. Well, don't worry, but you want bass players to dig you, you want piano players to dig you, singers to dig you. The drummers, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about that. That takes care of itself. So that's always been sort of my framework that I play with.
Wow, man. Again, man, from Bad Company to Chaka Khan. It's all groove, man. It's all
Yes,
groove. And when you're not grooving, you get the side eye.
yes,
But then when you're playing and people's like,
yeah, uh-huh, yes.
hey man, hey, that's it, man. That's energy, man. That's trust, man. That's priceless.
Hmm.
So average white band, how was that coming in after, after Mr. Ferroni? Have to
Yeah,
call him Mr.
yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, yeah, that's a tall order. I did my best. They treated me really great. And yeah, I mean, playing that music was so much fun. Um, Steve would come out occasionally when we would play in LA, in the LA area. He would always come. He would always stand there on the side, watch. He would also come out and play. His usual tune was either Pieces, Pick Up the Pieces, or Schoolboy Crush. He'd come out and play one tune. Um, and yeah, man, it was for me. It was a unbelievable, exciting time. Um,
Gotta ask, when Steve came out, were the two kids there?
no, he would just come up, sit on my kit, and just yeah, and sit on the kit, not touch a thing, just play, which also is mind blowing to me because maybe I don't know, maybe because I'm small, I'm like a short guy, but I need to be able to reach things, and I'm particular, and it's like I just sat down on the drums, literally nothing to prove. Let's play some music.
Oof.
Yeah, man.
There you have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. By the way, I remember being on when I first joined the band. We were driving across the country on a tour bus, and the whole band was sitting in the front lounge. And Alan, I think it was Alan, that said, "What's like an introduction to a tune that you really love, like a real grooving intro or something that caught your ear?" And the first thing that came to my mind was "What You Gonna Do for Me" with Mr. Ferroni on Shaka's record with Anthony Jackson. And Alan's response to me was, "Oh yes, yeah, yeah." He goes, "She did a great song on our. She did a great job with our tune." And I was like, "What? That's an Average White Band song. What you gonna do for me? They recorded first. That's a cover. Hamish Stewart wrote that, and ironically, Ferroni's on both." Yeah, yeah. But that intro, that opening snare and hi-hat fill, and like it doesn't take it doesn't take 4 bars for it to like do this. It's instantaneously
Oof,
grooving. Ah, yeah.
magic,
Goals.
gold, magic, magic, magic.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, the average white band, there was a, with that specific pocket in their history, man, oh, it absolutely served you well.
Yeah. No, I learned a lot just being around those guys and playing those songs. Yep.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, just in case, okay, well, you've heard about, and we'll get back to the Hall and Oates, but you've heard about AWB. So here's another groove, Miss Patti Austin.
Oh yeah, Patty, the baddest. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I mean, I used to sub on her sort of R&B material in that she had two different bands. She had LA musicians as well. This was more like when she'd come to the East Coast. But
Yeah,
yeah, playing Bet You Wouldn't Hurt Me and Razzmatazz and stuff like that. It's like it's amazing for me. It was like that's what I grew up practicing. Those records, Quincy records. But then I never became more than just a sub for that. But I was the drummer for her Ella project, her Great American Songbook. So it was a straight ahead thing, and it was a trio and just drums, acoustic bass, piano, and sometimes, well, more often than not, they would put us with orchestras in different cities around the country. We played in Italy, we played all over the place, and yeah, she was just the oh my God, the gold standard of consistency and her control over time and phrasing. It made me, I've always been a little picky about time, and she's brings it to another level. She can feel the tiniest little things, and so it just created a scenario where the three of us we would just have to be completely honed in, A game, and yeah, she was awesome. She really is.
it sounds like there was, not that it doesn't happen elsewhere, but because it is with the three-piece and vocalist and the orchestra, that within the band and with Patti, there was an emotional intelligence that was, you know, you're not going to see that,
Yeah,
but it was going on, and people, you know, I mean, you can pinpoint it and say, wow, that conversation
yeah,
in that situation between you four and the orchestra.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not like the same orchestra all the time, different
No,
people and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yep,
So, and probably with Patti, with her, this wasn't about you know, it was a different, it was a different set of rules with the groove, where it's like you're not driving it, but you're, it's like, you're almost like, You know what it's if you ever seen like tango dancers, it's like, and I tried to, in my past, I tried some tango, but there was this thing where it's like, as with your partner, it's like, you're leading and stuff, but it's all so subtle, like in breathing. And like with Patti, that comes to mind,
Yeah.
where it's like you,
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I'll tell you what. sh- what it was definitely not was we're some sort of karaoke machine and we just play and she just does her thing. She was completely and utterly intertwined with every single note that everybody on that stage is playing. She'd make you feel that way by the way she sang. And if she was 15 feet in front of me, it felt like she was right here. her pre- her presence is so strong, and she's so comfortable. She's so witty and smart when she speaks to the audience. Like, just the whole thing was, yeah, it was an awesome experience with her as well.
so that's kind of like the Patty Austin feather. So now we're going to go to another feather, Bobby Caldwell.
Yeah, that's a bad dude, man.
He was a bad dude. He was a bad dude and stuff. His music was so smooth, but at the same, it was breathing, with this restraint.
Yeah,
It's like it's. I always have felt that playing with such a singer is like some different rules, man. It's not about chops and stuff. It's like how no, it's not about that, and if he feels happy and he starts vamping and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, then maybe those 4 bars are going around and around again, but those four bars are special.
oh yes, that was his. Yeah.
So I'm sure you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean that's it's funny you say like hitting like a 4 bar phrase or something. When we would play "What You Won't Do for Love," when we get to the end of that tune, it would repeat. And the first time I did the gig, I can remember we got into it, and I had again from doing my like I was really lucky to be playing with some great R&B players in New York City, and me and this bass player, we had this thing where he's like, man, if we catch a pocket, like if we really catch something, you're feeling it in your bones. He's like he's like even people like at a club, if you see people not even some people won't even be paying attention, but if it's deep enough, eventually they're gonna be like this. You know what I mean? And he's like I you get that not from breaking it up every 4 or 8 bars, but by just making it more and more intense. It's relentless. Don't give up on it. Don't give up on it. And I remember the first time I played with Bobby, we were playing the outro of What You Won't Do, and we're playing that groove, and that was my mentality. I was digging in so hard. I was gonna, yeah, it was like, just digging in as hard as I humanly could. And he's turning around and he's looking back, and that's what he loved. He really did. He was down with it, even when he wasn't singing. And it's not like and he's so talented. He plays piano, he plays all the instruments, but just as a, he just wanted to be part of that pocket too. And he was just as intense, and he would let me know like this is what it's about. So it was pretty, yeah, it was pretty awesome. Not to mention, the songwriting and the voice, just crazy.
When the way you explain that, I'm thinking of a song, and it's the riff at the end, and they don't do that now in music that is produced, if rarely. and it was a session. It's from the group The Spinners, and they're doing Mighty Love, and that 3-bar riff at the end with Felipe Wynn. And it's like the cats are playing, but it seems like every 3 bars, man, it's just, oh, taking it to another level. Taking it to, no, you playing the same stuff, but there's there's a intention. So, man, that must have been, man, were there times that you feel it's like, man, I'm sitting in the middle of this, man, I can't believe this. I
Yeah,
can't believe this, man. It's like, I'm playing with this cat.
absolutely. I tend to always, I'm such a fan of so many people, so like I'm always sort of like I'm in the mindset of I'm not worthy, so I'm not letting any of this go by without appreciating, you know, getting to do this with great players. Whether it's in a little club or it's on a big stage, it's like there's greatness everywhere. So I'm gonna soak up every one of those moments.
And that you doing that, you're projecting that back, you're projecting that out, and the leaders feel that, the band members feel it, the audience feels that. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
To, you're just sitting in a pocket, man. It's like, I can't believe, man, I can't believe I'm doing. Look at this, look at this. Damn.
Yeah.
And think about your brothers and sisters. Yeah, yeah, I got the lessons. I got the lessons, baby. I got the lessons.
Yeah.
So, the feather, the plume from Mr. Chuck Loeb. Another groove, kind of jazz sophistication, but with a pop clarity. He's sitting in his own like little, he's got his lane, and
Yeah.
you're in the middle of that, and
Yeah, man.
you're serving the music. So
That, yeah, he's he's
how was
he's
that?
another one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, 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 man.
Oh,
Go.
he yeah, I get excited even when I talk about Chuck, man. He's meant more uh to me for my just general career. I can't imagine 90% of anything I've ever done since playing with him is somehow related to him because his he carried weight in New York City, and the musicians he played with and the respect he garnered was awesome. So just by being there, it meant a lot. And to this day, it's still things still happen because of him. And even
Relevance.
years after not being in his band anymore, like when I left his band. By the time I started playing with AWB, that was like real touring. So I was missing more gigs than I was doing with him. And he was like, "Yeah, man, go. You got to go. You got to do your thing." He was so incredibly cool. And then he would still use me on all his records. I don't know, I must have done, I don't know, 8 or 9 of his records. And even years after I wasn't playing with him anymore. And yeah, so he was incredible for me. And musically speaking, a lot of people know Chuck as a, a smooth jazz artist. He's a bebop guitar player, period. And
He's got a lot of vocabulary. He had a
he
lot of
he
vocabulary.
yes, and he can, that some of his tunes were had a touch of pop or R&B about them. Sometimes he would solo over just maybe 1 or 2 chords or something, but you can tell his wheelhouse was changes. For him to navigate through chord changes is what he grew up doing. Um, so, and he was also a guy that was like always passing on little golden nuggets of info to the guys in his band. He had a young band. I was probably 22 at the time, and the first time I played in that band, Will Lee was playing bass, which was like, for me was
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
goosebumps now even thinking about it. And I know Will and I've played with Will, but being 22, 23 and like coming into Chuck Loeb's gig after Zach Danziger leaves it and Will Lee's playing bass, it was, awesome for me. And he would, Chuck would just drop these little nuggets of info. He would have us thinking about, he's like, you ever write music? You should think about writing music. I went to Berkeley and I left Berkeley to go on the road with Stan Getz. This is Chuck talking. And Stan told me I should be writing. And I started writing songs and I wrote some tunes on a Stan Getz record. He goes, like a year and a half later, I was living in Brooklyn. He's like, I was doing nothing but playing straight ahead and I was poor. He goes, and one day I got a check in the mail. And it was because of the tunes he got on a Stan Getz record. And he was like, eye-opening experience. You may want to think about doing some writing or may want to think about producing. He was always passing on information, in super valuable. And the one last thing I'll say really quickly, and has nothing to do with music, but it's how great of a guy Chuck was. There was a calendar year where he called my house. I lived in an apartment in Brooklyn. He called me every single day and he would just go like this, buy a house, click. He would just tell me every day, buy a house. And I would say, oh, I can barely pay. I can pay my, he goes, can you pay your rent? I go, I can pay my rent. Never an issue. He's like, get in the game, own a house, figure it out, try to just get in there. It's not getting cheaper. It's getting more expensive. And think like these are like fatherly things. You know what I'm saying? Like amazing that he would take the time that was even on his mind. You know, he was such a great guy. So he means a lot to me. And musically, again, playing with people that he surrounded himself with was incredible. Will Lee, we did a week at the Blue Note, 2 nights with Michael Brecker. I'm a Michael Brecker fanatic. So to play, at the Blue Note with Chuck and Michael Brecker, again, it's like life changing for me. So yeah, awesome.
You've had incredible moments.
Yeah.
Incredible. Do you know if is there a recording of any of the stuff that you mentioned from that Blue Note, being at the Blue Note and Michael Brecker?
Yeah, I can tell you, I mean, I know that the night we played, one of the 2 nights, I had a little mini disc recorder.
Ah,
Unfortunately, the drums are so loud, but I do have some of that stuff recorded. One thing I have that's like I will I will cherish is we played a tune. There's a tune on a Chuck Loeb record called Rhythm Ace, and it's like a fast, like an up tempo kind of swung hip hop groove, and um, it's based on I can't remember. It's based on these these changes, and so when we're in the middle of the gig, Chuck turns around to the band and he points everybody out singularly. He's like, you stop," and he looks at me and he goes, "Keep playing," and then he looks and he leans over to Brecker and he's like, "Take a solo," and we got to the top of the form. It's based on rhythm changes. That's what I meant to say before. So the song is based on rhythm changes. So he turns to Mike and he points at him, and Michael Brecker starts playing a solo, and it's tenor sax and drums, and it immediately went straight ahead. So it's like, and I don't fancy myself. I was better at it then than I am now, that's for sure. But even then, I didn't fancy myself like a really like straight ahead player like this thing to to me to me if it needs to be like Greg Hutchinson or Brian Blade or Bill Stewart, like these guys for me are like other level for that stuff, and I don't feel like I ever had that. But in that moment I'm like, I'm at the Blue Note with Michael Brecker playing rhythm changes, tenor sax and drums. Oh my god. And I have that I recorded that. I have
you
that.
recorded that.
I did. I did. Yeah.
To me, and all the names that you mentioned, absolutely worthy of th- those gentlemen, Hutchinson, Stewart, going through your mind. But when you said it to me, it's like I'm thinking Elvin and Train.
Well, yeah, man. That's of course.
It's like, oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
exactly. And then also, like even like on Brecker's first solo record, no, yeah, on Brecker's first solo record, there's a whole intro to a tune where it's Michael and Jack DeJohnette. It's like
Yeah, and
very deep.
it's deep, and I still it's still kind of hard to fathom that Jack is not with us.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That guy, man, is like
How
I remember.
unique.
I mean, I was hearing back in like 72, 73. It's like one of my friends says, "Yeah, man, yeah, you got to listen to DeJohnette." He wasn't even saying Jack. He's, no, man, you got to listen to DeJohnette, man. You got to listen to DeJohnette. And then, anyway, hard to believe, but and you did it with Brecker. Damn. Damn.
By the way, right around the time that happened, my good friend and your good friend John Scarapula,
Oh
he
Lord.
he found he I remember, I believe I showed him like the thing. I remember him coming to me and saying, "Yo, you played with Brecker at the Blue Note?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, my other brother. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I met John, I think I was about 14 or 15. I was, yeah, this would be like in 1985. I was 15 and I went and did an audition for a wedding band. Like my father drove me to this girl's house and John showed up and it turned out to be like his cousin was the band leader. And John was, I think at that point, maybe he was just finishing up with Berkeley.
Ah.
And I was like this little, I'm not a little kid, but I was young. There's a big difference between a 14, 15-year-old and a 20-year-old, 21-year-old.
Yeah.
And it was right around that time that I found out who he was and who the Funk Philharmonic was, because I grew up in Long Island. So me and him are bros. Yeah.
I love that. I love that, man. Man, yeah, we get into good trouble. I will let him know that his name was mentioned
Yes, great.
in this podcast. So it's like you need to hear this. And
Yeah, man.
what did he say? What did he say? I'm not telling you, man. No, John, I'm not telling you, man. No, you just gonna have to listen. We thank Brian Dunne for this part one. And please, everybody, stay tuned for part two on the Groove Don't Lie podcast.